Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast is your one-stop shop for fantasy football news and advice. Can't decide on who to draft on the first round? Going gaga on how to line up your team. Got you covered. Traditional leagues, dynasty leagues, PPR leagues, IDP leagues, even daily fantasy football leagues. Join us as we break down all the questions of fantasy football. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome into the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Dougherty. As always, this podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. All right, last show, I did like a weird mock draft kind of thing where I picked I was picking in every position, and I only made it to the second round. So this show, I was thinking, okay, we need something a little better than that because we're still in the offseason. We're still coming up to the draft, the real draft, the NFL draft. And we had some news coming out. Dez Bryant no longer has a team. We have some players retiring. I know we had a couple linemen retiring. We had some linemen getting new deals. I know Joe Staley got a new deal with the Niners who restructured his contract. Just to name a few things going on. I know Jarvis Landry is working on a deal right now with the Browns, a long-term extension. So in the good heartness of what we all love in fantasy football, the draft, I will be conducting my own mock draft and be basically live casting you this mock draft I'm going to be doing right now on my little device here. And as I go through it, we'll be talking about each players and different dilemmas you have as a draft. So I've already kind of set it up. I'm doing, I don't know, should we do a 10-man or 12-man league? Let's just do it. Let's do a 12-man league. Make it more difficult. I'm going to do a 12-man league. I'm going to randomize my draft position. All right, I'm picking 11th. Great. Okay, cool. We're picking 11th in a 12-man league, but it is a snake draft. So here we go. Going into the 2018 season, we're doing PPR, by the way, friends. So just to let you guys know that PPR, I've always done PPR. I like PPR. And then just to let you know, we're doing one quarterback, two running backs, two receivers, one tight end, one flex, which is a running back or a receiver, one defensive starter, and one kicker. And then we'll do six bench positions. Six bench positions. Enunciate, Tom. Enunciate. All right. And without further ado, we're just going to dive right into this. We'll see how long this takes me. If we can fill the whole show with it, or if it doesn't, I'll talk about some tips and tricks regarding the waiver wire. But here we go. Okay, I'm picking 11th as we get into my draft simulator. All right, I'm on the clock as we go here. 11th pick in the first round. Here we go. This is we're going to start right off the bat here. Decisions. I mean, the first picks have already gone away. I mean, we got Le'Veon got taken, is gone. Gurley's gone. Brown's gone. Johnson's gone. John J. Hopkins, Julio Jones. Basically, the top 10 guys are gone. So I'm dealing with Keenan Allen, Kareem Hunt, or AJ Green. Who do I want? Do I want a receiver in the first round? Do I want a running back in the first round? Oh, decisions. Honestly, I think Keenan Allen is ready for a big season again with the Chargers. I don't think Kareem Hunt. We'll see how he does with Patrick Mahomes, how much they're going to use him with Tyreek Hill, if he's going to have a regression. He was so good last year, coming out like gangbusters. I've always said pick running backs early and often, but I got kind of shafted with my draft position here. So we're gonna do Keenan Allen. We're just going to take him. All right. Now we're coming up. This is my turn again as we are only 2 picks later because it's a snake draft, friends. And now this is where I'm going to get my running back. See, this is how it works here. We're going to go back over to, we're staying in the AFC. We have either Melvin Gordon. Do I do another Charger? The thing is, picking another Charger is that now we're getting into the whole if you really want to think about it, we're getting into the whole problem when it comes to bye weeks. So when you pick, obviously, a player on the same team, you're going to have to deal with the bye weeks. And I don't really want to do that. So we're going to take Leonard Fournette with our first running back. Next pick, as you see, a bunch of different picks have gone, as it's going to be a long time until my turn, as we had a bunch of players go. I mean, I even saw Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley went. Where did he go? All these receivers are gone. Saquon's gone. There's lots of good players out there still. All right, who I want? We're gonna go. We already have a receiver. We already have Keenan Allen. We already have a running back. We're gonna stick with Yes, I'm gonna stick with my thing that I like to do here. Devonta Freeman is up there on the board. I mean, Devonta Freeman, Larry Fitzgerald, they're still on the board for me right here, picking in this spot. I mean, this is now the 35th pick in round 3, folks. As I go through my draft simulation here, this is 12-man league, so you got to take your lumps here. 12-man league, so you got to take your lumps. You got to understand that Devonta Freeman hasn't been the same since he lost Kyle Shanahan. But he got a big contract, and we'll see if he can live up to it now, coming into the second year, I believe, now of his big contract. So we're gonna snag Devonta Freeman there, as a bunch of people just went. I think Larry Fitzgerald just got picked. We still got some good running backs up there, though. As I get to pick again, and do I want Christian McCaffrey? Or do I want Christian McCaffrey? I mean, obviously quarterbacks. Well, we're gonna wait for quarterbacks. So right now I'm sitting on Mark Ingram, Christian McCaffrey, Golden Tate, and Al Robinson. I kind of wish I had one of you guys in my ear just waiting for me. So this is again, we're talking about different things, different stuff. I mean, one of these days I'm going to get this. We might have to do another mock draft. I'm going to get this this on YouTube so you can see my screen. But right now I'm just going to basically live tell you everything's happening as we go along here. But no, I'm sitting on Allen Robinson. This is now the 4th round, 38th pick overall, 4th round. Allen Robertson. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers. We go quarterback 4th round. And we've had a lot of conversations about this on this show, about the quarterbacks. I don't know when it comes to it. Honestly, I have a receiver. I have a running back already. I said running backs early and often. I like the fact this is PPR, and this guy gets a lot of catches out of the backfield. I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey right there as I take him. And, look at that. A lot of running backs just go off the board. I mean, the thing is, that's the problem about drafting 11th in a 12-man league, is that you go bang, bang, you have 2 picks, you have 4 picks, boom, boom, within 4 picks of each other, or 2 picks of each other. And then you have like 20 picks now. We're now in round 5, 59th overall. Holy crap. I mean, holy moly. I mean, just ridiculous. All right. Now do we go quarterback? Round 5. I'm sitting with Tom Brady right now on the top of the board of my picks. Tom Brady. We also have some receivers up there. Evan Ingram's tight end as well. Or Michael Crabtree, Marvin Jones are options. Let's see here. Let's look at this ratings here. Ooh, Deshaun Watson still sitting. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Cam Newton. This is interesting how these guys are ranked. I mean, that's all a good question mark here. There's a lot of quarterbacks. I'm not going to go quarterback quite yet. Yeah, we're going to snag Marvin Jones. I need another receiver. I like him. He gets a lot of touches. I like the fact that he's got good quarterbacks thrown to him. All right, so now see that we're picking again. 2 picks later. This is now round 6, 62nd overall. We're flying through this. This is the problem. It just kind of automates it. This is going to get through. We're going to get through this pretty quickly here. I'm going to have to talk a little more about each of these picks here. No, we're only in round 6, but it's going to take a while. All right, let's see here. Deshaun Watson. Do we take Deshaun Watson, or would we keep going with these? There's still, look at that. Deshaun Watson is the 4th ranked quarterback right now on this board. You still got Drew Brees, Matt Stafford, Ben Roethlisberger, Jimmy Garoppolo is still up there, Andrew Luck's still up there. We're staying away. Right now. Evan Ingram's a 4th ranked tight end. I like Evan Ingram. He's a good player on that Giants team. We're going to snag him. I think he's due for a good year. As now we see a bunch of those quarterbacks just went off the board. It's now my turn at the 7th round, 83rd pick overall. These 12-man leagues, they're killers. All right, do we still like quarterbacks on the board? We still got Jameis. We still got Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, he was like a top-ranked quarterback. Whatever happened to him? He lost again, losing to Kyle Shanahan. Honestly, I'm just waiting for Jimmy. I might have to snag. I might snag Jimmy in my next pick. Let's see here. Round 7. I got Leonard Fournette, Devonta Freeman, Keenan Allen, Marvin Jones, Evan Ingram, and Christian McCaffrey as my flex. So you see, look at that. I went running back early and often, and all those guys get lots of catches out of the backfield. PPR, baby. All right, here we go. Continuing on. I have a tight end already, so honestly, it's time for a quarterback. It's time for a quarterback, actually, right now. So, Jimmy G or Ben Roethlisberger? Honestly, we're snagging Jimmy G. I like Jimmy G. I think he's due for a big season in San Francisco there. Going to get lots of opportunity. That Kyle Shanahan offense is so good for a quarterback. All right, now I get to pick again. Ooh, Corey Davis is sitting there. Another receiver. I already have Marvin Jones, Keenan Allen. Let's snag Corey Davis. Tennessee, he's a good player. He's coming off a little injury. He had a nice game in that playoff game, though. First bench player. As we don't have a defensive... Oh, so it's a defensive team. We didn't do individual... Maybe we might have to do 2 different drafts. One with an individual defensive player draft. And then maybe one with no PPR. Because that would show you how different I would go. Because I wouldn't get all these pass-catching running backs. Other than... Leonard Fournette really isn't a pass-catching running back. But the other two are. All right. My pick again. Where are we going here? Kelvin... He's up in Buffalo now. Don't like that. We're looking at the boards here. Do we snag a defense in the... This is round 9, 107th overall as I start to build my bench, or I can go over the defense. I'm not going to get a backup quarterback yet. That's why I do that. That's my last pick. I pick pretty much always. Now we got to find that diamond in the rough. Is it going to be Theo Riddick? Is it going to be Isaiah Crowell on the Jets? I don't know how I like Isaiah Crowell on the Jets. Ooh, there he is. No, that's it. Yeah, we're going to grab Martavis Bryant. Thank you. Bam. I don't care what the experts say. We're getting Martavis Bryant. I need to be more commentary. You guys are listening. I'm seeing. But yeah, that's my big board. I have a big board right here looking at it. But yeah, no. Martavis Bryant. Got to snag him. I already have enough running backs. I got 3 running backs already. I probably will get another one. As now we're in round 10, pick 110. So now I see. Look at that. I still can get Theo Riddick. I like Martavis Bryant better than Kelvin Benjamin. Just by the way, that's just a better picture. Better picture, outlook picture. The big picture there. And then okay, Theo Riddick, fine. There we go. Snagged him as my running back on the bench there as we continue going on this draft. See, Ty Montgomery, that's a name that just popped up on my screen here, just to let you guys know. Right now I'm looking at Ty Montgomery, Ben Roethlisberger, Eric Ebron, and then also the Jacksonville defense just popped up because it's just basically going off of the top rankings of just overall. Matt Ryan is still on the board, by the way, friends. So is Phillip Rivers. So is Jameis Winston. So is Marcus Mariota. So is Jared Goff. And so is Ben Roethlisberger. Obviously, that just goes to show you right now. Those are all guys that are going to probably be backups on your teams this year. Even in a 12-man league, those guys are all still on the board. A 12-man league. I have Jimmy Garoppolo. Just an FYI. Do I grab the Jacksonville defense? They're ranked number 1. Or do I get another running back, another pass-catching running back that has a good quarterback in Aaron Rodgers to throw to him? That's what I'll do with Ty Montgomery. He's going to get a lot of touches, especially in this PPR league. You got to love the best weapon in a PPR league. I think I've talked about it before on the show, is the fact that is a pass-catching running back. Pass-catching running back. And I have pretty much all of my running backs are pass-catching running backs. Leonard Fournette, not so much, but he'll get his points other ways because he's one of those ground and pound guys where he'll get the ball inside the 5 every time and run in for a touchdown pretty much. And that's points right there, friends. So you get one of those, mix it around. I like my running backs right now, actually. Fournette, Freeman, McCaffrey, and I actually have 2 more on my bench with Riddick and Montgomery to mix and match around, see, against the matchups. That's how you do the waiver wire, too, with the matchups. All right, now we're in round 12, pick 134 overall. Ben Roethlisberger still sitting on the board, not ready for a defense yet. Who else is on the top of my board? Ooh, Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace is playing for the Philadelphia Eagles now. I kind of like that actually. Do I stick with Eric Ebron on the Colts coming back for another season? I actually had Jack Doyle on my team last year when it comes to tight ends. We're looking at Trey Burton, Jason Witten. And honestly, we have to do Old Faithful. Jason Witten gets too much love from his man, Mr. Dak Prescott, to not draft him, because I mean he's Old Faithful when it comes to being a security blanket for Mr. Prescott, Dakalicious Dak Prescott. As we come to the end of this first segment, as I'm looking at my little clock here, I time all these rounds. So yeah, trying all these rounds out. That's pretty good. We're about halfway through this draft actually, so that's a good time to take a little break, and we will talk more about how much Dak Prescott likes to throw it to Jason Witten when we come back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. We are in the middle of a mock draft right now, friends. So quiet on the set. We're in the middle of a mock draft. Just kidding. But we are doing a little mock draft action right now on the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Fun hanging out with you guys as I look through my list here of what I want to do. Nobody's gone defense yet. I mean, it is a simulation. It's a computer I'm going against here, so it's really tough competition. But actually, drafting. I'm going to take a little minute to talk about my draft position that I was dealt with here. Being late in the draft, even for a 12-man draft, isn't the worst thing in the world, because you do get those back-to-back picks, and then you get to wait for a while. But I mean, if you see two guys sitting there, like I had to make a decision between, who was it, Theo Riddick and Martavis Bryant. I got both of them because I picked Bryant, and then Riddick was still there 2 picks later. So I mean, that's a nice thing about picking late in the draft, or picking early in the draft is always nice. It's the same kind of, with the snake draft, it's the same kind of thing. Yeah, you're going to have back-to-back picks, or picks close to each other, versus picking in the middle, like sixth. You're going to have the same amount of wait time in between each pick, no matter what. So you're never going to have that back-to-back time. You just have to plan it out that way the whole time, instead of having to be able to get, boom, get two guys just like that. So we're actually now in the 13th round. I'm going to have to do two of these things, like I said. I'm going to have to do one PPR, one without. And then that one without PPR, I'm going to see if I can do an individual defensive players. All right, so we're continuing on as we have gotten to the fact, everybody looks like they have all their players except for the benches and kickers and defense, so nobody has that yet. So do I just snag Jacksonville defense in the 13th round? I've always been a sucker for picking defense as early, even though it doesn't matter. I know people who don't even pick defense, or pick defense second to last, because it's all mix and matching. I mean, you could have a defense that will carry you through the whole season, but I doubt. I mean, look at the Seahawks defense. They dropped all the way to the 9th spot on these rankings. That's rough. Where's the Niners defense? There it is. I gotta find it all on here. There's Denver. Raiders are way down there. Cowboys are way down there. Interesting. Okay. Not defense yet. We still got how many more bench? I only have one more bench position. So as we come to the end, we're actually coming to the end of this draft. I was thinking maybe go 14 rounds. It's only going to go about 15. Okay. Let's see here. Do I want another receiver? Oh, actually, no. We're going to go reach for another tight end. Do I just go get Eric Ebron anyways for that last bench spot, or Mike Wallace or TJ? Honestly, I've always been a TJ Yeldon fan. Right now, the top board right now is Marcus Mariota, TJ Yeldon, Jacksonville defense, and Mike Wallace. Just to give you guys a heads up. Decisions. Let's see here. Let's go Yeldon, because he's another pass-catching running back that's going to get those yards of the catch. They're going to do lots of screens to help out our friend Mr. Bortles, who just got his big contract. They're going to manage that defense, give him some nice little easy passes. All right, so it looks like Jacksonville defense got taken out, even though I actually like the Minnesota defense better than them, so we're going to snag them. Thank you very much for that Minnesota defense. I didn't pick a backup quarterback. Look at that. I could have got Marcus Mariota. As there go all the defenses and the kickers. Says problem. I should have probably picked a kicker and a defense and then gone backup quarterback at the end there, because now I'm stuck with Harrison Butker. Even though I actually had him for a while last year. He's pretty good. We're going to go Harrison Butker. Actually, Robbie Gould, really good kicker for the Niners. Had a great end of the season last year I think he's going to have lots of chances to kick field goals, honestly. Let's go Robbie Gould. Let's put him up on top here. Boom. Robbie Gould for the Niners. As we finish that draft, I got a B+. Thank you, by the way, for my draft grade. We're going to do this again. I can't even get my projected standings in the league. That's ridiculous. All right, just go over my team here. I've drafted 11th out of 12 PPR league, 12-man league, snake draft. There's also type of things you can do. I'm just telling you what I did, so you can, if that's the kind of league that you do, then just put a little reminder in your book for when we get to draft time in August or September or whenever. That's probably August when everybody will be doing their drafts. All right, so you got Jimmy Garoppolo's quarterback, Fournette, Devonta Freeman running backs, Keenan Allen, Marvin Jones as our receivers, tight end the Evan Ingram, flexes Christian McCaffrey. Our defensive team is going to be Minnesota Vikings. We have Gravity Gold as our kicker. Our bench is Corey Davis, Martavis Bryant, Theo Riddick, Ty Montgomery, Jason Witten, and TJ Yeldon, which is not bad, I think. I mean, if you go for a 12-man league, and if I put that down to like an 8-man league, then that's when you see more players being available more often, obviously. But I mean, that's pretty good value right there. I mean, you're going to get a B+ for no reason. 87 out of 100 projected standings. Oh. No, wrong button. Didn't want to do that. No, we're not. I don't really care about that. No projected standings. But no, mock draft again. Got to do this again. Different kind of thing, though. We're doing snake draft, but no PPR. We're going to lower it to 10 teams. And can I do a defensive? No, they don't let me do it. Four defensive teams. They won't let me do a defensive starter. Whatever. Randomize. Sixth position. All right, let's do this again. All right, who went first, or who went in the top 5 picks? Top 5 picks were the top 5 guys: Le'Veon, Tyler Gurley, Brown, Zeke, and David Johnson, who I talked about on the last show to ad nauseum. My first pick is going to be pretty easy. It's going to be Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. Thank you very little. See, this is 10-man team now, 6th position, and we're going to end up getting Melvin Gordon again. Actually, no, who did I get? No, I didn't get Melvin Gordon last time. I got Keenan Allen last time, and then I got Devonta Freeman and Leonard Fournette. That's right. Ooh, they just keep coming for me. Tyreek Hill. Right now, the top board is, you can disagree if you like, but it's top board right now for me, drafting in the 3rd round, 26th pick overall. Tyreek Hill, Mark Ingram, Travis Kelce, and Adam Thielen. And there's 8 picks until my next turn, which is the thing about drafting 6th. Ugh. It's either going to be 6 or 8 picks between your turn. Got to take Tyreek. I think he's due for a good season. With him and Mahomes going to be on the same page. All right, so you look at that. Adam Thielen's still available. Did they put Tyreek as a receiver? They do. All right, we got to go running back then. I had Joe Mixon last year. This is now the board. New board is Thielen, Henry, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, and Russell Wilson. So just an FYI, that's our new board for now. This second mock draft I'm doing on this show. It'll probably just be the last one. Derrick Henry or Joe Mixon, everybody. Where do we go with that one? That's the question. That is the question of the day, as I now have only one running back. It is Melvin Gordon, but I lost out on Fournette and Kamara because my first pick was DeAndre Hopkins, of course. How to snag the receiver. He's a good player, and he's got Deshaun Watson back throwing to him. Got to go Derrick Henry. Good player. Catch the ball in the backfield. Gets those good ground and pound yardages. All right, now we got Larry Fitzgerald, Tom Brady, Kenyon Drake, and J.H.I. is my new board. I've never been a fan of Tom Brady. I'd rather wait and maybe get Drew Breezy. Easy breezy Drew. So we are sitting at Kenyon Drake, who's a good little running back for the Miami Dolphins. Might be due for a good season. I'm going to snag him, actually. And for my flex position, I like that pick right there, Kenyon Drake from the Miami Dolphins. Now that Ajayi is gone, he has the bulk of the carries and also gets a nice little get some passes out of the backfield. But I mean, not PPR this time, so that's why I am trying to get some ground and pounders like Derrick Henry. Okay, who we got next? Who's now on the board? We got Larry Fitzgerald still up there. Cam Newton now. J.J. and Alex Collins. Still waiting on a quarterback. We're not going quarterback quite yet. 6th round. We're going tight end. Let's find who we want for tight end. Last draft, I got Evan Ingram, the 4th ranked tight end in this league. Or actually, why Kyle Rudolph is way down there. Why is Kyle Rudolph so low? I like Kyle Rudolph. He's the 9th right now, so we're actually going to wait. I like Kyle Rudolph, so I'm going to see if he's still available. We're going to look somewhere else. Honestly, it's just snag Ajayi. Just snag Ajayi. Because this is not PPR, so let's just snag. Oops, did I press on a button? Oh, it gave me. Honestly, Alex Collins, same difference. Alex Collins is a good position running back. JJ, actually, I kind of happy I clicked Alex Collins. I was meant to click Alex Collins instead of AJ. So we're gonna go Alex. We got Alex Collins from the Baltimore Ravens. Actually, I kind of like that pick. All right, now we're back. Receiver. We only have. Oh, I didn't change this. I didn't do one flex player. I have 3 receivers. I should have done 1 flex player and two receivers like you usually do. Right now it's sitting 3 receivers, no flex, and that's it. Okay, fine. Then we'll go. That's why it's telling me to get the 3rd receiver, not another running back. Fine. No, not Michael Crabtree. Here's my big board right now: Devin Funchess, Michael Crabtree, Greg Golson, and Matt Stafford. The top 20 receivers are gone. This is a problem. Honestly, we're going to reach and we're going to grab Cooper Kupp from the Rams. I think he's going to have another nice season. I like Cooper Kupp. Had him on my team last year. As you see, Jimmy Garoppolo is gone now. He's gone. Do I go quarterback now? Is Drew Brees gone? Yep, I probably should have got Drew Brees the last pick. Dang it. big board right now is Matt Stafford, Greg Olsen, Jordy Nelson, and Ben Roethlisberger. I'm humming because that's my thinking noise. As we come to the end of this second segment, we're probably going to just stop right here as we, this time, are in the middle of this draft. All right. So we're going to stop right here. I'll make my next pick in the 8th round, the 75th pick overall. What do I do, folks? What do I do? Greg Olsen, Matt Stafford, Jordy Nelson, Ben Roethlisberger. Do I go quarterback or do I wait? Do I just kind of get some value as a mix and match? You can mix and match quarterbacks all you want throughout the season. Do I go another tight end or another running back or another receiver? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? We'll talk about it and decide when we come back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA Podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. As we wait for that music to get out of here, as we complete our draft, our second mock draft we're doing on this episode, as I'm just going to be live casting my mock draft as we're getting into the real draft season. And later this week, we'll probably be talking about that more and more and more. The fact that we're going to be having lots of new talent to think about when it comes to the fantasy football crop. Trying to find where your sleepers are going to come from. Where's the next Alvin Kamara, the next rookie sensation? The rookie sensation that is going to be coming up, coming down the pike for you to try and wreck your league with. All right, we're in the 8th round, 75th pick overall, and what do? I don't have a quarterback yet. Do I just wait? It's 10 picks until my next turn, which kind of cruddy. I think there's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks taken. How many teams don't have quarterbacks yet? Oh, just one. Okay. Oh, it's actually, I think it's just me. I think everybody else has a quarterback. Okay, so actually I'll wait then. We'll wait and grab Tevin Coleman. Because I like Tevin Coleman. Everybody's like, oh, draft Matthew Stafford, Tevin Coleman, running backs. We got to get lots of running backs on this. We want running backs here. Yes, look at that. Nobody's going to pick nobody picks a quarterback. I still have a quarterback. Do I have a tight end yet? No, I'm waiting for Kyle Rudolph, honestly. I like Kyle Rudolph. I'm just waiting for Kyle Rudolph. We're going to draft him later. Still not a quarterback. Do I wait? Who we got? C.J. Anderson, Delaney Walker. Honestly, that's might be a little bit better value. Grabbing Delaney Walker now. I think he's already up there, yeah. My big board right now is Delaney Walker. Top 4 picks are trying to say is top 4 picks: Matthew Stafford, Delaney Walker, Ben Roethlisberger, and Pierre Garçon. I'm still waiting for probably Andrew Luck or one of those two quarterbacks, just deciding Matthew Stafford or Roethlisberger basically at this point. Because, quarterbacks, they're kind of a dime a dozen when it comes to fantasy. All right, my turn again. Now it's saying Devontae Parker, Ben Roethlisberger, Sterling Shepard, and Matt Stafford. Honestly, it's quarterback time. We're going to wait. Is there still some talent I can reap? Because nobody's going to draft a quarterback. There's probably still talent I can reap from the back end of this. Oh, like Tariq Cohen. He's a barn burner. I like Tariq Cohen. There's still Martavis Bryant out there. Honestly, we're going to go Martavis. I had him in my other draft too. I always like Martavis Bryant. We don't have any receivers. Yeah, I don't have any receivers in my bench yet. I need to get some receivers. We didn't do a flex for some reason on this second draft I'm doing now. There's Kyle Rudolph, Deshaun Jackson. That's my big board, by the way. Deshaun Jackson, Kyle Rudolph, and Matt Stafford, and also Ben Roethlisberger. They're saying. I don't really see anything. I snagged Martavis Bryant. I thought anybody was going to take him. Do I just go quarterback now? Fine, I'll go quarterback now. Matt Stafford, thank you. Yeah, nobody really no. People were picking up backup quarterbacks at this point. No, I'm going to be a game breaker and go defensive starter, just like that. Minnesota Vikings, I'll take them again. It's early, but we're round 12, friends. There's only 3 more rounds left. I think I just broke the mock draft. I think I broke the simulator. It doesn't know what to do. I broke the simulator. It's okay. We're talking about defensive starters. I mean, it wouldn't let me do an individual defensive player. There we go. I selected them. It worked. I got the Minnesota Vikings there. I think they're going to have a better season. They have so many different players. I mean, I know right now it says that Jacksonville is still the number 1 team in there. There's also the Rams and the Eagles up there on the top 4. That Vikings defense looks mighty good because they have so many weapons on the backside. When it comes into the secondary, that's where you're going to get your points. They also have some good linemen. I mean, you're going to get the only thing is if you have individual defensive players, you can get points for tackles. But where you're going to really get the bulk of your points is from those interceptions, keeping the point total down, and sacks. So you got to take all that stuff into account. It's saying get another quarterback. I don't do that. I don't need a second quarterback. Honestly, let's snag Deshaun Jackson. He's good for a few touchdowns. I wouldn't mind him on my team. Take a little top off the defense. He's definitely getting up there in age, but it's all right. Oh, this is the draft log right there. Who went first? I have to go. Oh, that's the wrong way. I'm trying to look at the draft log of this mock draft that just happened. I bet you they just picked, so Zeke went first, then Todd Gurley, then Le'Veon, then Antonio went 4th, then David Johnson went 5th. That's actually, interesting, computer. Not taking, I'd flip-flop Bell and Zeke. Or not, actually. I'd flip-flop maybe flip-flop Bell and Gurley and take Zeke first and then have Bell, then Gurley. But I mean, maybe the computer that picked second wasn't a Steelers fan, or doesn't like the Steelers, or doesn't like Le'Veon Bell. But it's interesting how that just kind of went around. Saquon Barkley was picked in the first round, by the way. Just a little FYI. Saquon Barkley was picked 8th overall in this mock draft. Just a 10-team draft also. Interesting. I think he was only rookie. I could see in there. Nope. That's about it. Des Bryant, who doesn't have a team right now, was picked in the 5th round. Maybe it's just telling you there's Darius Geis. Okay, he got picked 7th round. That's not a bad pick. I like him. I have to draft him in my real league. As we're going to try and extend this out for the rest of this segment. Can I do that? We'll see if I could do that. As we're continuing on here, we are in the 4th. Oh, there's only 2 more picks left. Yeah, I don't think I could do that. But we'll just talk about it, as that's what we do. This is a fantasy football show. I'm doing a fantasy football mock draft, friends. This is what we're doing right now. We're in the 14th round. Do I pick a kicker? Nobody's picked a kicker yet. The computer has not picked a kicker. And it's telling me to get another quarterback. Corey Coleman. There's a good pick. The highest player on the board right now overall is Donta Freeman, the 101 ranked player. on the big board according to this mock draft site. I got Jason Witten last time. We're getting Jason Witten again. Actually, no, Latavius. I didn't see Latavius, who is underneath. That's an interesting ranking. Jason Witten's 142. Latavius Murray is 143. Latavius Murray is a good running back. I'll take him. We're just going running back heavy running back on this. I have 4 running backs on my bench. And now see all the kickers are gone as we're going to grab Will Lutz from the New Orleans Saints as we complete the draft as all the rest of the kickers go. Look at that. Guess what the grade I got? Maybe it's just rigged. Is it rigged? I got an 87. The same thing as last time. It might be rigged, but also is a pretty similar draft. So we got in a 10-team league this time. We got Matthew Stafford, Melvin Gordon, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Delaney Walker, Minnesota defense, Will Lutz as their kicker, Kenyon Drake, Alex Collins, Tevin Coleman, Martavis Bryant, Deshaun Jackson, and Latavius Murray. That's not bad. Actually, that's not a bad lineup just to start, because you're not going to run with that lineup the whole time. I mean, that's what we're going to talk about in the last segment anyways, is waiver wire. We'll get there. That's what we're talking about in the last segment anyways. Waiver wire and how it's all going to come to fruition regarding all the, your waiver wire. The fact that you're probably going to run with a team that you drafted for a week, 2 weeks, maybe. Some teams, I know players that go waiver wire right after the draft, like bam, bam, bam. Don't waste any time. I drafted. Oh, I didn't like my draft. Kind of got shafted on the picks, or you stole so many of my guys, so I'm going to go find somebody else. I'm like, why didn't you draft them? Oh, I didn't see him on there. Well, that's why we have the waiver wire. That's why you can do whatever you pretty much whatever you want. When it comes to that, it obviously depends on what draft picks you have. Waiver wire pick you have in your order, because lots of leagues you'll have a priority list based off of how many people or what place you're in, or how many times you've used the waiver wire, and then obviously you only have so many. I could imagine most of my leagues have 4 ads per week. 4 ads per week. Is that pretty standard? I know it is. I think for the Yahoo leagues, but could be different for the other leagues where you have no bench, or have 2 ads per week or something like that, or unlimited ads per week. That'd be crazy. Just revamp my whole roster in 1 week like the Cavaliers did. Basketball reference on the Fantasy Football Show. But so 2 mock drafts. I could do another one, but I don't feel like it. Actually, I do feel like it, but that doesn't sound like it's be quality podcast material. I've already done 2 podcasts, two mock drafts, and where you can't even see my screen. I tried to describe it to you guys as best as possible. We did that. So we're going to complete this segment by talking about how those went, and the fact that I got an 87% on both of them, or 87 points or whatever, B+ rating on both of them. And one was a PPR and one was not. Is it based off of that? It might be based off of that. I think it's different. See, the thing is, it's PP. It's not. This one was not PPR. Honestly, why would you not play PPR? It's so much more fun in PPR. High scoring, a lot more high scoring games, and you get to be, you get to value the fact that a touch counts. It doesn't matter about how many yards they get. No, it does actually. Obviously, it matters, but PPR, not PPR. So we got more of a ground and pound running back in Derrick Henry. We got a guy who could take the top off of a defense and Tyreek Hill with his speed and get the yardage, whether he's getting it from the backfield or not on those end rounds. DeAndre Hopkins is going to get a lot of catches anyways, but he will get yardage, and he'll get in the end zone. So that's the thing about, you want to have value when you're not PPR. You can get guys like those pass-catching running backs, which I actually did get one of those with Tevin Coleman, but he gets in the end zone too. He's pretty fast. You want to get guys that are more ground and pound, get those yardages, and then also can find pay dirt and get in the end zone, because that's where you're going to get the bulk of your points now. Instead of just like, guy had 130 yards receiving and on 8 catches, but he didn't score. It's still a pretty good day for fantasy. Well, it's not that great of a day, but it's not terrible. Versus PPR, if you don't if you don't have that, no touchdown, you're basically just getting the yardages. So the yardage, and that's like what, a point per 25 yards for passing, receiving. So that's like nothing that day. You got like 4 points. Thank you. Or 5 points. Thank you very much. Good day. But then again, I bet everybody does that. I mean, the only that's how you can really put a premium on scoring touchdowns versus just catching the ball and getting points off that, racking up, trying to get. I mean, that's the one thing about PPR is nice, is the fact that if you're losing, you don't need your guy to score. He doesn't like, oh my God, he needs to get in the end zone. Oh my gosh. No, just catch like 10 balls and get some yardages. Get some nice yards of the catch, or maybe like a couple screen passes, like even a little behind the line of scrimmage pass where he catches the ball. Well, if it's a backwards pass, technically doesn't count as a catch because it would be a running play because it was lateral. But that's just rules. Honestly, there might be some fantasy leagues that count that as a catch, even if it's on a lateral. But I digress. It's whatever it is. So that's the draft stuff. We did that for the first few segments. Last segment, we're going to talk about the waiver wire and how to mix and match, and how we can just take what I said before and throw it out the window regarding the draft, and just basically create and make your team through the waiver wire, and that's how you can sustain your success throughout the season. All right, we'll be right back with all that.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. As we have been doing some mock draft stuff today, post free agency mock draft. We did that show. That was how my other show last time. I titled this one the simulated mock draft because I literally went into a simulator and did 2 mock drafts. And talked about it as I did them. I was kind of trying to show you what I was seeing on my screen as I was going through there as best as I possibly could, and kind of just picking players you can disagree and agree with me as I was going along there. So I hope you guys like that little show me on the what I think about how to get through a draft. It is interesting though, going that quickly. Usually you have a little more time to decide or to kind of find out where people are going to land, but I like going that fast, like a rapid fire, as the computer decided on the picks. But usually when you're playing with their players, I mean, people are going to have their favorite teams. I know when I play with my friends, we have a Raider fan in our fan group, so in our league that like always picks Derek Carr. Always picks Derek Carr. Has to have Derek Carr. He actually won 2 years in a row when the Raiders were good for like a second, and then did not have a good season last year. I won last year, actually. All right, so this segment is going to be about the waiver wire and how you can use it to win your league. Number one waiver wire tip is use it for your defense. Pretty much, like you saw me, I actually picked Minnesota defense twice, both drafts. I mean, that defense might get me through the whole season. But if you don't get those defense, like whether it's Jacksonville or even Jacksonville, we don't know how it's going to work. They could have injuries. I mean, even the Rams defense, which, I mean, is now their piecemeal, and I wouldn't call it piecemeal, I call it the mercenary defense, because they brought in like 3 dudes who are, I mean, Aqib Talib is already kind of considered a mercenary, where he comes in and just gets to work and doesn't really have much team allegiance, just kind of finds a team, wants to pay him, and he does his work for him, which is fine. Great. It's Ndamukong Suh coming over from the Dolphins, and then obviously the trade. I mean, it wasn't really a choice for Marcus Peters to come over from the Chiefs. He was traded. I think actually Aqib Talib may have been traded as well. So, but still, he still is that kind of player. So he did it with the Patriots and went over to the Broncos when he sees a good defense he could fit into. He jumps at an opportunity to get on that team. So you can't knock him for that. Opportunity cost there. Sees a good opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. So you also got to take advantage of a hot defense. Speaking of advantages, you got to take advantage of a good matchup. I mean, I think I went through last season, part of the season, where I would switch my defense every week, whoever the Browns were playing, basically. At the end of that season, their offense was pretty bad. So whoever the Browns were playing, I would just take that defense, or whoever the Texans were playing with Tom Savage. I would just take that defense and run with it and see how it went. I mean, defenses aren't really going to make or break your team per se. I mean, I wouldn't say they could make your team. If you get a week, for 1 week, they can definitely make or break your team week to week. But because you can get a defense where you didn't do anything and you lose by like 2 or 3 points, and you're like, oh, my defense did something, I would have won that week. Or if you can have a defense where it really picks up the slack and your defense gets 2 picks and a fumble recovery for a touchdown and whatever, and only allows 3 points, great defensive performance, and you get 30 points on defense and just blow their team out because your defense scored way more than theirs did. So, as we were talking about football, just exhausting going through all this fantasy football stuff. But no, it's actually really exciting getting to the season. And it's going to be even more exciting as we get closer to the NFL draft. And like I said, we saw Saquon Barkley go 8th overall in that simulation I just did. That's kind of really why I did the simulations, is I wanted to see where these rookies were going to stack up. I only saw 2 really go anywhere in that first half of the draft, was Darius Geis and Saquon. And those quarterbacks, we don't even know if they're going to start. So it's going to be, those. Speaking of waiver wire, I mean, who knows? Sam Darnold gets in there, starts off pretty well, pick him up, get him as a cool little backup. I don't know, because you're definitely with the way bye weeks work, you're going to either have to draft very, very smartly if you don't want to use the waiver wire, or you will use it. Just use the free agents, use the waiver wire, and mix and match your lineup when you have a big slew of guys who are going to be going on bye. And the only problem with the waiver wire is obviously you got to drop somebody. So you got to find out somebody to drop. And if you can figure out who your weak link is, it's even easier. It's always easier to drop somebody when you know who your weak link is. So you definitely have to figure that out and find out who you are willing to get rid of, instead of being like, oh, I want this guy. Oh, but who am I going to get rid of? That's kind of like you're in the roadblock here. Then you're like stuck. So it's always nice to identify a weak link or a redundant player who's kind of doing the same thing as another player, or a guy maybe that you think can slip under the radar and won't get drafted until you can get him back or get picked up until the next week, where you can snag him back again. So definitely something to look out for think about when you're trying to work with that waiver wire. But so defenses, like I was saying, defense is number 1 when you can mix and match. Number 2, quarterback, obviously. You can mix and match quarterback. If you don't get top tier quarterback, like I drafted Matt Stafford, I'm not going to stick with Matt Stafford all year, probably. I mean, maybe because he gets good yardages and he puts up good numbers, but he also takes a lot of sacks and throws a lot of interceptions. So I mean, if I can find somebody who's coming off a hot start, or is finally finding a groove with a receiver or such, or has a good tandem with running backs, throwing to the running backs, and their offense is clicking. There's always a surprise team in the NFL every year. You're going to find an offense who's surprising you, just like last year with Case Keenum in Minnesota. I mean, why not pick him up? Let's say Case Keenum clicks really well in Denver. He's not going to get drafted, especially in a 10-man draft. He's not going to get drafted. He might get drafted as a backup, maybe, but if he'll probably be sitting there just in the waiver wire saying, "Hi, I'm clicking really well with the Broncos. Might want to pick me up." That could happen because if you're thinking about top 10 quarterbacks, they're going to probably get drafted as starters. You're thinking about, the Bradys and the Rodgers, Breeze, Dak, Deshaun Watson actually was 4th in that ranking. He was above Drew Brees. Well, there was even Matt Ryan. That's the thing. Matt Ryan probably might not even get drafted unless you have a guy who didn't watch last season. Matt Ryan's a guy where if you get him against a good a weak secondary or a weak pass rush where he can have more time in the pocket, pick him up for a week, see how he does, because he'll usually have a week or two where he gets a nice fantasy performance. So not sustainable, but a week or two. So that's where you got to find that. You got to pick and choose those weeks where you think his matchup is the best. He has the best chance with the matchup to perform well. So like Matt Ryan is a good example there. Same thing with like a Big Ben Roethlisberger. He might get, some people might. I picked him last overall in the draft, like my last pick in the draft last year. Ended up having to start him a lot because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. But he's got a lot of weapons. He's got Bryant. He's got another Jesse James coming back after another full season of getting more better chemistry between them. Obviously, got the two killers on the outside. The killer on the outside with Brown, the killer behind him with Bell. The triple B's, Ben, Bell, and Bryant, or Ben, Bell, and Brown, and you can throw Martavis Bryant in there too. That they're going to be pretty potent. So Big Ben is getting up there in the old age department, in the experience department, but he can still throw dimes, and he does take a lot of risks. Especially you'll see that with the veteran quarterbacks, but can get you some points in this league if they don't go run heavy with Bell, and he's actually able to drop back 30-40 times in a game. All right. So that's quarterbacks. Running backs, your second running back, your top running back, the first one you drafted, you probably want to stick with. You're going to stick with him the whole year because it's probably a number one guy, whether it's Zeke or Gurley or Fournette or Melvin Gordon or somebody like that. Who's you're going to pick? Kareem Hunt, unless he just goes in the tank. You're probably going to hang on to him the whole season, obviously barring any injuries, of course. That's a whole different story with injuries. But your second running back, most leagues have two running backs. Your second running back, that's where you can get really mix and matchy. If you're in a PPR, you might want to have a guy who's more with the pass catching out of the backfield mentality, get a team that runs a lot of screen passes, a speed back that can get big breakers and get in the end zone from 50 yards out. You can mix and match there. It's also where you have your flex, where you can have a guy just sitting in your flex, and if he needs to start in the starter, and you could pop him into the starting running back, number 2 running back position, and then maybe throw a receiver in the flex then, or bring somebody up from your bench. That's why, it's always good to have a lot of running backs, because running backs, they don't rely on anybody really. They're going to get their own points. They rely on the line and blocking, obviously. That's true. But they don't rely on a quarterback throwing in the ball that as often as like a receiver, where he has to have the quarterback throw him good passes and be open and not be shut down or be double covered. Always different variables that need to happen in order for a receiver to have a good year or a good day. A running back can almost create his own good day. If he gets good blocking, he might have an even better day. So, you can see that. And then obviously when you have running backs that are more ground and pounded running backs, it might be good to have one of those on your team, because when teams get to the goal line, now more and more now you're seeing just them give it to the running back and have them dive over the pile. Free 6 points for you. Thank you very much. All right. So as we get to the end of the show here, I'll just continue talking about running backs. Kickers also are a big deal when it comes to mix and match. You can pretty much just pick one from the draft, just kind of go, any money, you, I'll take you. Obviously, there's more reliable ones than other ones, but you're really actually picking a team kind of that might stall more in the offensive in there, and when they're coming down the field and the offensive side of the field, that might stall out, kick a lot of field goals. You can look up the stats to see which teams are more prone to kick field goals. I mean, because extra points are nice, but you want those 40-yarders, 40-yard field goals. That's like points right there, points in the bag. That's how you get like 15, 20-point days from your kicker. And we talked about defense, talked about second running back. Receivers, too. You can always mix and match receivers. Receivers are, they're almost a dime a dozen sometimes in fantasy. Yeah, like your number one receiver, the top guys, that's different. But the secondary receiver is kind of dime a dozen. And then your tight ends, kind of the same thing, too. You can just mix and match. It's all about those matchups. You got to figure it out, though, too. All right, so we're coming to the end of the show now. We talked a lot about drafting. We talked a lot about waiver wire stuff. That's really what fantasy is. Mix and matching, finding the best matchup. It's kind of a guessing game. It's kind of reading all the in between the lines, making sure you're getting up in time to set your lineup in the morning with the injury, looking at the injury report. Make sure you're not starting somebody who's hurt before their game starts. And then we did a couple of mock drafts earlier in the show, obviously, and you figured out how I think about my way of getting through a draft and getting through and which round to pick who, and getting what kind of running backs for different PPR, for a PPR league or for a not PPR league. Or I'm gonna try next time. I might try and find a mock draft where I can get a simulator where I can get individual defensive players. That one did not let me do it. It only let me do just the team, which is like standard. But I'll try and find one where I can do individual defensive players for those for those guys, you guys out there, guys and gals that do the individual defensive player leagues, which are actually pretty cool because you get to have it's all tackles, you have linebackers and safeties and whatnot. So you get, instead of having me lumped together with one team, you can pick you basically make your own little dream team, your own little defensive dream team. All right, that'll wrap it up for this show today on a Tuesday. I'll be back on Thursday for another episode of this Fantasy Football Podcast from the GSMC Podcast Network. My name is Tom Dougherty, and it has been a good time talking to you guys. And until I see you hear from me again on Thursday, everybody have a good time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.